What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Bitcoin is still consolidating in this falling wedge that we've been speaking about for several days on the channel. I am still increasingly bullish on Bitcoin. However, there is still that potential of a drawdown. But in today's video, you're going to want to stick around to the end because we need to talk about some insanely bullish Bitcoin prospects. Now, Willy Woo had come out, right? And he was talking about a six-figure Bitcoin. He says by H1, so the first half of next year. This actually received some criticism. Oh, Willy Woo saying it's going to go to $100,000, etc. Well, in today's video, what I'm going to talk about specifically is why this could actually be an understatement and Bitcoin could potentially be setting up for a massive super cycle. In fact, there's something happening right now in the charts that we need to go over. You can tell I'm excited about this one, right? So we're going to get into that. I want to talk about something that Bitcoin has done historically that is happening right now that always signals massive upside potential, not to mention the fact that we have a particular demographic, and I'm not talking about the institutions, I'm not talking about the family offices. We have an untapped demographic worth absolutely billions and billions of dollars that if they start investing in Bitcoin, which word on the street is that they are interested, even just a 1% allocation could send the price absolutely parabolic, shattering all of the charts that we've looked at, the stock to flow model. So this is definitely going to be an interesting video, especially if you're new to crypto or if you just need a little boost of hopium, because my goodness, I'm certainly excited about this one. So we're going to talk about that. I want to discuss why the supply shock, right? The liquidity crisis for Bitcoin is real. And I also want to end a little bit on some Ethereum talk and why Ethereum could also be a massive, massive bet, especially for the next decade. So if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, consider it. I do want to start off with this Willy Woo statement before I show you the incredible thing that is happening right now in the Bitcoin chart. I was very excited about this. So Willy Woo says six-figure Bitcoin. So he had an interview over on Preston Pish's channel where he talks about Bitcoin. It was called the Bitcoin Fundamentals Podcast. And he said that there was a slew of high net worth investors that are obviously coming into Bitcoin. He says this is very positive for the price outlook. He says that the previous generation of Bitcoin holders were replaced in the fourth quarter last year with high net worth purchasers that drove the price higher with accumulation. He says we're at the point now where all the new guys that bought in during the first half of this year, well, they're now long-term holders and they're at the peak. They're providing the lockup that's necessary to drive us into the six-figure level. Now, let me show you what is going on right now in the chart. So obviously we spoke about this falling wedge. Falling wedges are in fact bullish patterns. I showed you this one that we had down here before having the massive breakout. It looks like we're putting in something very similar again. You could see we've been rejected, but we do always find support at the bottom of this level. So I am anticipating when this move is finally done, I don't know when that will be. It could be in a couple days. It might be in a week. I am expecting a massive breakout to the upside, but that's not even the bullish news of the day. So check out what is happening right now. If we actually just get rid of everything right now off the charts, and let me actually put this in log so we can see it a little better, you will notice that we actually have these two moving averages about to cross over. Now, if you don't know what these are, this is the 200 daily moving average, this pink line, which we already have established is extremely bullish if we are above it, right? Oftentimes in traditional markets, this 200 daily moving average, the pink line right here, tends to essentially let us know whether or not we're in bullish territory, which is why when we lost it right here, there was a little bit of fear that was going on. But the most important one that I really want to talk about is this blue line right here. And if we have a look at how these two moving averages sort of interact with each other, you'll notice that when the blue line crosses above the pink line, we are in extremely bullish territory. The blue line being the 128-day moving average, very common moving average used in traditional stocks. So if we take the 128 and the 200 and have a look in the past, we could see that as soon as we have this cross, you could see see right here, we had a cross. Bitcoin was sitting at around $4,500 before going on a massive tear all the way up to the $13,000 level. Obviously, right here, we had some choppiness. We did have the Bitcoin, we did have the 128 go above the 200 here, signaling the massive run up all the way to 64,000. We had a bit of a death cross here, but it may have been a fake out due to this Wyckoff distribution accumulation. And right here, as you can see, it looks like we are actually about to cross above it again. Now, obviously, past performance does not indicate future results, but having a look at this, having a look at the data, what generally happens when we see this type of a crossover, this means that there is much more potential upside for Bitcoin. So could Bitcoin actually get all the way up to this 100,000, plus dollar level? Absolutely. Now, looking at just some on-chain data before I get to the big reveal, going back to on-chain data, having a look at a metric known as the 1-year revived supply, which tracks the movement of coins from long-term Bitcoin holders, it indicates that investors are not taking advantage of the current surge of the price action, which obviously means they are holding. In fact, this level is its lowest since around August. You can see right here, we also have Bitcoin hodl waves, young versus old coins. And then you can see they go into two unique patterns that have been seen with large Bitcoin miners. They say that these miners, some of the largest miners, are maintaining their Bitcoin holdings even under difficult market conditions. Another indicator, the zero hop supply, which refers to addresses that get the mining subsidy straight from Coinbase transactions, serve as proof. And they say as of September, this statistic has increased by about 50%, with the large mining companies largely concentrated in American soil now. Just to kind of point that out there, China, you had your chance, you banned it, so America jumped on top of that. They say that they are hoarding more than 20.4 thousand Bitcoin, which are unlikely to be sold into the market in the near future, thus adding to the supply shock that has already been described. But where do we come up with this potential super cycle? Now, before we get into it, you're probably saying, well, that's what the halving is about, right? Bitcoin moves in these 4-year cycles. But keep in mind that the first few halvings were much more substantial as far as the inflation of Bitcoin is concerned over what we have now, right? So initially, when you mined Bitcoin when it first came out, you would get a reward of 50 Bitcoin. That was soon cut in half to 25, which was then cut in half to 12.5. Almost couldn't do that math in my head there, guys. And now it's even lower than that. But as you continue to reduce half at the lower levels, it's not going to make as much of a difference. What's happening is, in the beginning years of Bitcoin, there was just tons of Bitcoin flooding the exchanges. Miners were getting rewarded 50 Bitcoin every single time they found a block. And there was a lot of Bitcoin, whereas now there's not as much. In fact, you're seeing it dry up. You're seeing it even get pulled off of the exchanges, right? For the past couple months, we've seen exchange outflows increasing. So this in turn brings me to this story. Maybe you've already heard this, but I'm sure you're all familiar with Kevin O'Leary. He's very famous from Shark Tank. So he was on the Anthony Pompliano business show, and he was talking about a large untapped market, and this is the sovereign funds in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, which he says represents the real opportunity for transforming the crypto marketplace. He says the opportunity is not with the family offices or hedge funds that operate out of the Middle East. The real money is in the actual sovereign funds in both Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. It's billions and billions and billions of dollars. They have not allocated to crypto yet. When that happens, you will see it reflected in the price of Bitcoin. There is no question about it. They have such long-term views in those funds, and those funds are so incredibly large. He said that the funds represent some of the largest pools of capital in the world, and that a multi-billion-dollar mandate could send the price of Bitcoin absolutely skyrocketing. This could shatter all of the models that we know today. He also goes on to say that he was actually in contact with several of the Middle Eastern investors and that they would immediately go to 1 to 3% on Bitcoin alone. And just to clarify, these are not individuals that care about spending this type of money, and they have no interest in looking for a quick flip. They don't care about a 30%, a 40%, even a double. They are looking to hold this long term. So you could see that a lot of investors and miners, they're not selling. You could see that these extremely high net worth individuals are becoming interested. And as I went back here, not only is Bitcoin forming currently on the daily a very bullish falling wedge, we can also see that we have had the 128 cross above the 200, which historically has always signaled massive upside for Bitcoin. You can go back, you can test this essentially anytime you have this crossing above, and you can even see how many times it acted as support. Oh, and if you want to see something even crazier, look at where Bitcoin had this bottom right here, exactly at the bottom of this moving average. Now, yes, moving averages are technically lagging indicators, but I had to bring this up to you because as you can see from the history of Bitcoin, when this happens, things are looking incredibly bullish. So also talking about Ethereum, you can see right here, just kind of skipping around. Okay, so that was my Bitcoin talk. So we're talking about Ethereum. Ethereum did just put in a new all-time high. And you can see that I was expecting us to have a retest right here around the $4,218 level. We virtually almost hit it. I mean, we had a little wick slightly above it. We have had the bounce. There is still that potential that we come down here onto this level. Like I said, I am looking for this support to be flipped resistance. We had a little bit of a fake out fail right here. So everything is actually looking quite good. And regardless of the short-term price action, even if we had something, where we came back down here and tested the legacy trend, the bull is in full force. The momentum is going. The interest is coming. The trend is your friend until the end. And having a look right here, I wanted to just discuss something that Raoul Pal from Real Vision was talking about as far as Ethereum is concerned. He said, make no mistake, Meta, Facebook with Diem and the Metaverse experience is a way to onboard millions of people into the world of distributed ledger technology. I mean, come on, what are we going to be using? If this whole Metaverse takes off, what do you think we're going to be transacting with? How do you think we're going to be able to claim our own individual items? And I know it sounds silly, but this is the way that the world is going, guys. They are moving to NFTs. They are moving to distributed ledgers. They are moving to blockchains. The metaverse is real. It's something that's been in the minds of so many people for so long, and now it looks like it potentially could be coming to fruition. Am I glad that it's Facebook doing it? Not really, but at the same time, is anyone really actually surprised? He says this is what adoption looks like. It may not be what you want, but it is what it is. Again, we have the choice to participate or not to participate. Just as people called Bitcoin crazy, funny internet money years ago, they're still doing it today. Well, all those people that chose to sit on the sidelines, how are they doing now? Probably not as well as the rest of you watching, I would assume. He says, your opinion of Meta is just a matter of where you hang out. He says, just so we're clear, I am more than irresponsibly long on Ethereum right now. I have leverage, but via calls. This is by far and away the biggest personal position of my life by a factor of 10 or more with a horizon of at least 6 to 9 months. And this could be the ultimate time, the moment where the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin is finally shattered. It could be a reality, right? There's always a first. We don't know. It hasn't happened. But if we do have this massive adoption for Bitcoin, store of value, we have these massive billionaires from the UAE coming over here on top of the fact that Facebook is releasing the metaverse, NFTs are booming, Ethereum breaking all-time highs. Every single thing right now is pointing to crypto. Sure, you can gamble on the meme coins. They're fun. I mean, there's lots of money to be made there as well. But step back, have a look at the bigger picture. And the fact that you're sitting here watching this video right now, pat yourself on the back. Absolutely incredible. And just to end on some good news today, well, as if this wasn't already just a load of good news, Australia's securities regulator has issued new positive guidelines on Bitcoin and Ethereum ETPs. In the latest development, the organization published guidance detailing regulatory requirements for funds waiting to offer crypto ETPs. This also includes ETFs as well. Obviously, it's designed for investor protection, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, while it has given the green light to set crypto-backed funds dedicated to retail investors, they are currently only focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, they are open to more in the future. So let me know what you guys think about that. Do you agree with the fact that we will see a $100,000 Bitcoin at some point the first half of next year? Do you also agree with what Kevin O'Leary said? Do you believe that these guys are really looking to get in, and that if they get in with this 1%, that it could skyrocket? I mean, these people are extraordinarily, probably like rich beyond comprehension, right? You always hear about these like Saudi Arabian princes, and if a Saudi Arabian prince ever sends you an email asking to, have you lend him some money, it's definitely a scam. Hopefully we all know that by now. But yeah, so this is crazy. Lots of bullish news, lots of things right now. We have the 128 crossing over the 200. We have a potential falling wedge, which we could be looking for that breakout. But like I said, short-term price action, in my opinion, doesn't really matter. We're in it for the long run. That's it for me. I'm out today. Thank you so much. Trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter. And friendly reminder, if you guys are interested in trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other altcoins, make sure you check out the links below in the description. Always make sure that it's the official CryptoZombie checkmark. Lots of scammers down there. There's over $5,000 in bonuses, but that is it for me. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. And if you haven't checked out these videos popping up right here, right now, check them out. Until next time, stay crypto, stay bullish, and of course, peace out.